Okay. Today, so coach's intro, you got anything you want to say special that Cindy didn't say?
Just saying, just right. That's cool. Thank you, Cindy.
Okay, so today, man, one thing when we decided Coach was going to be on, we were thinking, me and Coach were talking yesterday about what we might want to teach. So with Coach, we thought maybe we would not do so many skills as much as we would talk about different styles and how to control the rhythm and the game and how to be able to adapt and change and what different styles work. And like maybe you can be too aggressive or too passive, or maybe you're kind of in the middle. So we're going to try to talk about a bunch of different concepts. And there's a spider.
Don't kill the spider.
I just don't want them around me. A couple of different concepts and stuff like that. So you guys understand those ideas?
Okay, yeah, I think that's something we've been always talking about the different type of Sanda athletes. Generally, we can separate them like aggressive type or more like a defensive type. Okay, but like what I'm just saying, that's just generally. We cannot really separate. Okay, that the guy is just aggressive type of fighter. The guy is just a very defensive fighter. Okay, you're aggressive. You don't want to be over aggressive, more like a middle. Okay, you don't care about defense. You don't care about technique. Just want to go crazy, try to kill. Okay, that might not be the best. Same thing with the defensive. Defense sounds more like safe. Okay, but if you cannot control that right, also going to make the trouble more like you're going to be too passive. You're going to miss a lot of opportunities. Okay, to land on the target. I mean, to get the points from your opponents. You're going to just miss a lot of opportunity and chance. Okay, but since we're talking about aggressive and defensive, one thing is going to be common for these two different types. We just need to know how to balance them. Okay, and one more time, being aggressive and being defensive really depends on who you fight with. Someone might be faster than I am. I might need to be a little bit conservative, but doesn't mean I need to be passive. I want to know how to do the better defense and get the chance to counter. Okay, if you are a very aggressive fighter, same thing. You not just go for kill and without thinking about any game, any strategy. You can be more aggressive. You can be more pushy for your opponent, but you also need to still keep that ideas. Once they counter back, how you defend and counter. So now we're talking about counter. I think counter game is one thing pretty common between aggressive and defensive. So Cory, any ideas about one?
Yeah, so I think like the biggest thing we discussed was like, it's great to be, actually you just have to have to be a complete fighter in Sanda, you have to be very balanced. To where you can be a very great, and we'll go into these drills in a second, but like if you're very defensive, that might work great for certain opponents, but what happens when you need to be more aggressive to win? You don't have the ability to change in that moment. Or the same thing goes on the other side, where if I'm too aggressive and maybe I chase Coach Lee around the ring all the time and he pops me around and moves me away and makes me look like a fool, then I can't change my style to be more passive to be able to play a different game to win, right? So like one of the most common things, for example, I don't tell anybody I said this, but Alex, he's a really good example. He's calm. And one of the things that makes him so good that I respect about him is that he's calm enough to adapt and change whatever he needs to do to win in that fight. He can listen to the coach, he listens to the corner, he'll change, he can do it. But he's able to do it because he's able to, he knows how to be defensive, he knows how to be aggressive, so he's very balanced, so he can switch. So the first thing we'll talk about is let's talk about some different drills that would help you score when you're trying to be defensive. So I think Coach mentioned this yesterday. Being defensive doesn't mean not doing anything.
Just wrong.
Yeah.
No, that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, being defensive doesn't mean I just don't want to get hit. Being defensive means I'm going to be safe and score while I'm trying to be safe. So the first little drill we'll show is a counter drill that we'll scoot up a little bit so you guys can see our upper body. Is a counter drill we usually do that we usually have the beginners start out doing pretty good. So where we'll go slow to where I'll jab towards coach's face. I don't want to practice jabbing out towards his hand. It's not going to help him. It's not going to help my partner get any realistic situation. So when I punch right down the middle of the coach, he's going to catch and he's going to jab me right back, and I catch and jab him right back. So if we go very slow, we still pull back our hands, right? I don't leave my hand hanging out because then I get countered for sure, right? Anything in the center? Okay, this drill, one problem, the main problem for some beginners or some people that don't really care about, they really don't pay attention on this. When we practice, my jab, I really want to focus on the central line. That means I try to land on Cory's chin here. But some people, some beginners, they try to protect their partners. Hey, we always want to be protected for our partners, but don't be over. Now, instead of punching the center line, I punch the side of Cory on his right hand side. So here, and Cory also trying to protect me. So now we are working this range drill, punching drills, punching defense drills. That range, that's wrong. After this, after all the training, after putting all the time, I'm going to build up very wrong concepts, very wrong muscle memories. No, we want to focus on the chin, nose, the central line for each other. So we do this one more time. I'm going to attack first, Cory catch it. Sometimes I use catch instead of block. Okay, we will talk about this later. Catch, 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 catch. Now we go smoother and a little bit faster. So boom. Okay, faster a little bit. Okay, look at this. It's just for stretching punches. That's the most basic. Why I say catch and don't block? Because many people got wrong ideas. Block with that kind of big movements. That's not effective. That's not efficient. Once people continue their punches, try to land in my face. So catch will make the motion, the movement much smaller. Now Cory give me a cross punch. If I try to block, that happens because when I fight, I'm nervous. Okay, and I'm going to take a lot of time to recover that. He already gave me another punch. So I rather use catch instead of block for this movement. Okay, catch. One more time, catch. Now, another thing. Put your hand to catch, put your hand to counter. There's so many different ways. If Cory give me a jab, after I catch, I might counter him with my same right hand. Or I catch and counter him with my left hand. Same thing, if Cory give me his cross, here I counter. Or I catch with my right hand and counter that. But guys, for cross punch, for back punch, I'd rather use the same side of my hands to block. As you can see, Cory's a cross punch. And my left hand, when I block, when I catch this way, I might have the chance to play his balance. Look at this, because he's going this way. Easily for me to play the balance, boom. So I can be safer and I'm going to have a better chance to counter him back. Oh, after I catch, I have a chance to switch to the other side, doing different movements. But we'll talk about this later. Now we're just talking about stretching punches, defense, and counter. Okay, I think the rest of the time we're going to focus on more all the counter games. And after that, if we have enough time, we talk about from all the counter games, from striking, from kicking, also move to set up, catch, no matter you just do wrestling or you just
catch your opponent's kicking and take down your opponent.
Yeah, like just to add on what Coach was saying, like when you block big, you can block big. It's not preferable.
Nothing wrong. Nothing
The
wrong.
only issue is I have to be absolutely perfect. Where if Coach fakes me, oh, now I'm gonna really get it. So we tell those kids all the time, it's just like catching a baseball. I keep my hands by my face. Even if I mess up, my hands are still here and I still can counter back and punch. But if I'm freaking out and moving my hands too big, I'm just going to get beat up, right? And it's pretty normal. You can tell.
Easily to get saved up.
Yeah, and you can tell immediately. It's the first thing the beginners do when they spar is anytime their opponent moves, they drop their hands and try to move because they think they're going to block something. So just one more time on those quick little counter drills. If you do the continuous drill we do, is like we did. He throws, I throw, he comes back. And I keep my right hand close to my face. I don't reach out and catch Coach's hand way too close. I just let it stay by my face like we were playing the game, right? So just nice and smooth. I move my hips. I still punch correctly, right? And then the one Coach was talking about, if I throw my right hand and my partner wants to practice a different counters, I go with my right hand. He can step off, or he can throw the just a straight counter. Right? So there's two very easy, but we kind of, especially we do a lot of sparring drills with our students to where like I think this is we did it last week. Coach was like, I have those guys do some jab sparring drills. So these are the drills we do because I mean maybe this is a secret I shouldn't tell everybody, but it's the truth. I think this is like the best way to get a beginner to understand how I play the game with my opponent, because if he knows I can throw a jab and I can only throw a jab, he can only throw a jab. Now I have to use my brain on how to score, right? So I have to set up, play around, catch, and counter from both sides and all that stuff, right? So, you good with that?
Yeah. Another benefit for this drill, many beginners or many people, they have their fear when punches come. I do too.
Everybody does.
I do too. A lot still, okay? Even I play with my son, 7 years old, when he tried to punch me, I'm still nervous about that because I don't want to get hit by my kid, right? So same thing with everybody. The benefit of this drill also, you see, you got to control, both of you and your partner got to control the rhythm very well. So just give me a jet, single jet, more, keep going, faster and faster. You see, I got to judge, I got to predict how his rhythm and speed going to hit me, and how I'm going to catch the right timing and right distance to catch his jab. I like this drill because you can build up a lot of sense and your muscle memory. When punches coming, you're not just be that the only reaction you have is close your eyes or try to step back or keep stepping back. Guys, you see, if you call that defense, yeah, this is one kind of defense, but is that the best defense? No, I don't think so. I want to be able to handle most of punches trying to come. So there's a benefit for working on this drill. And you and your partner can work on different speed, different pace, how slower or faster with the boxing gloves, and it's fun.
Yeah, it's probably the biggest shortcut to get new guys used to getting punched at in the face without getting punched in the face. So it gives them that calmness without them just having to get used to it and getting beat up and sparring. So that's a pretty important drill for our curriculum. So not only can you do, I think me and Bruce might have covered this a little bit, but remember we're talking about all this in a style bubble and kind of like how so with the punches, obviously if I'm taller than Coach, I would always try to be playing a counter game with him because I have the advantage as long as I can keep him away. So if anytime he touches me, bam, I'm going to try to touch him back, right? So I always have this counter drills like for that reason. It's a counter, even though I'm defensive, when he touches me, I can touch him right back. I'm calm enough, I can catch, I can block efficiently and punch back. So that's why we do that counter drill. The next counter drill we do with kicking is the same thing. We might have shown the techniques before, but maybe we didn't get into why I would want to do it or the style. So we'll do two different times, like three. So first, I think we might have showed this earlier. If Coach Lee gives me a roundhouse, The easiest way for me to counter is to step back a little bit to counter, right? So we have two or three different options. I can check when Coach Lee gives me a kick, bomb, and counter back to score. Or I can do the first timing. When he comes, bomb, I stop him. So all of these I can do very passively. I don't have to. Now, when we say passive, it doesn't mean bad. It just means that I'm not forcing the action. I'm kind of letting Coach Lee do whatever he wants, whatever he decides to do. Whoop, bomb. Maybe I have longer legs than my opponent, so this is better for me to play this game, or whatever scenario, right? So for those three techniques, what do you got, Coach? So like on those three.
In the first, let's introduce step back.
Right.
Okay, now I'm going to attack Cory with my right roundhouse kick. Okay. So see how we step back. Okay, let's show the most common wrong in step. Okay, look at this. Now, Cory, yeah, that's the right range. He's going to land on me. Okay, I'm going to step back. But if I did it wrong, I will become too passive, too nervous, and totally out of the range. So, okay. You probably cannot see me from the video. Look, that's a little bit too much. Am I going to get a chance to counter him back? No, too far away. And guess what? Since I keep stepping back, Cory has a better chance to very fully throw all of his combination on me. Guys, I'm going to be so busy just defend. That's what we're talking about. You can be defensive, but you need to have a counter game. Oh, you're going to just run all the time. You totally lose your control, the rhythm of the fight. Okay? So now look at this. I step back, not crazy. Just a little bit, make sure his foot not going to be able to land on my leg, on my thigh. So one more time, step back, different way. Keep the same position, you step back, fighting stance. Oh, hit, switch it back. That's one kind of step. So I think first, just step back a little bit, put your body weight, lean forward, help you come out the momentum, move your 2 feet back. So one more time, quick. That's easy 1 point. Okay, next one. I switch my left position, go. That's the second step. The second step.
Yeah, like again, like I think one of the biggest things, none of these movements or these counters are hard. They're not technically hard. Like it's not a different roundhouse. It's not hard. A beginner can scoot back, keeping his weight forward without losing his balance. But the important thing goes back to what we were talking about is in the beginning when Coach ran away from when I kick and he runs away too far. The other thing that happens is when Coach Lee kicks and I run away too far, 90% of the time, yeah, I either eat it or because I'm new and I'm not good at countering, I scoot up and back, Coach. So he kicks me and I scoot back and I try to counter from here. Well, it's so big, I'm for sure going to get caught because it's too far and Coach has all this time. He's countering me, here it comes. And I get it, right? So it's not near efficient enough, right? They're not hard movements, but without the drills and you being calm, it kind of goes to what we talked about in the beginning. If you're not calm enough to play the game and see it, I freak out and I run away, dude, you're never going to be able to counter. Ever, 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 ever. I don't think it doesn't matter how good you kick or how good you punch. If I try to counter anything and I overreact too big, I'm either going to get beat up when I try to counter because I miss that timing, or I'm just going to get beat up because he's going to continue, right? So the last thing for this kick counter we'll talk about is the first time encounter. And Coach, I'll let him show it because he's better than me. He can either front kick or sometimes he can first timing roundhouse or side kick on. Anything works as long as it's the right timing. So you talking to this. You see, roundhouse kick, first timing roundhouse kick. That means when I predict, when I judge, okay, well, Cory going to throw his right roundhouse kick on. Okay, instead of step back, I call this defense first and then counter back. That's second time.
the counter movement. Now I call this first timing counter movement. After I figured it out, after I guess right, or I guess predict, he's going to throw the roundhouse kick, and obviously I made the right decision. So when he go, the first timing, I throw my front kick, stretch kick, front kick, stretch kick. It doesn't matter front kick or back front kick. Oh, typical. When he's ready, I go with a side kick. That's another stretch kick, counter kick. But you see, we call this first timing counter kicks. This one for me will be harder to train because you got to have a very good speed, you got to be explosive enough, you got to be very calm and take the right timing and right distance. But it's a very good self drill, self technique if you can do it right.
Yeah, it's this is like one of the more. This is definitely the first time encounter for anything. We're gonna do some with punching too. These are definitely your top level kind of skills to where, because for you to do them correctly, not only do you have to be calm enough to do what you want at the right moment, because the window for you to do it smaller to where if I scoot back, I have a lot bigger opportunity and the timing's a little bit slower. But for me to do it the second he moves, for me to catch him at the right timing, not only do you have to be calm, but you have to be very efficient and you have to be calm enough to predict what he's going to do, right? So going back to why these are defensive drills, are remember, defensive doesn't mean bad. And when we say passive, it doesn't mean bad. But all of these we did today would be in a situation to where coach is waiting for me to do something. He's not forcing me to do it. He doesn't have to throw anything for me to kick. He's waiting for me to do something, whether he counters with roundhouse or however, or if he counters my hands, fine. All of these are him waiting and predicting what I might do and capitalizing on that because he guesses right and he's calm enough to keep the distance short enough to get it. So, cool with that? All right, so let's move to aggressive, the other end of the spectrum, right?
Yes,
So,
I have a question from the viewer. So
okay.
for the counter kicks where you guys step back first, what if you are against a wall?
Well, then you wouldn't be able to step back if you were against the wall.
So what would you do for the counter kick?
Cindy, what's your question again?
He said if you're against the wall and you can't step back, how do you counter kick?
Against the wall? You're talking about the self-defense situation or the competition situation?
Yes.
Okay. Rule number one, don't get putting against the wall.
Don't ever set yourself in that situation, go against the wall. Hey, hold on. We shouldn't just say that. Some people, some kind of system fighting, maybe you, that's going to be your advantage if you have the wall behind you, okay? Or maybe if you got to fight more than one, I don't know. I don't have that much experience to fight for so many people. But maybe against the wall will be safer because you don't need to worry about someone going to attack you behind your back. But just focus on you talking about once you so close to the wall and you want to do the kick, counter kicks. Cindy, is that your question?
Yes.
Okay. I really cannot see any conflict except I already totally attached to the wall. Okay, or I don't have enough space to step back. If you're doing that situation, Cindy, I have no choice. Since you're talking about this question, if Cory give me a right roundhouse kick, I got nowhere to go. I'm going to eat that one. I think the best thing I can do, I'm going to chat with him with my cross punch. Since I don't have anywhere to go anymore, I want to catch it and punch at the same time. That's the only, not the only thing, because that's based on my training, my own experience. That's the one thing I want to do. Once I have nothing to choice, I have no option, you want to kill me, I will chat with you with my cross punch.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
You good?
You good? Go ahead.
Okay, so back to the next, we got one more counter to the circle hook. So this might help answer this guy's question or girl's question is, at no point we have a rule. I never want to take 3 steps backwards, right? I'm going to get out of the camera, but let's pretend I never want to take 3 steps backwards. So another very, very common and effective passive technique, well, remember, passive doesn't mean bad or it's not effective. It just means I'm waiting for my opponent to make the first move so that I can counter. So the circle hook, like let's say Coach Lee gives me a cross punch, or he's just so aggressive and he's coming forward, boom, I move with my left hand and circle 90 degrees to change the angle. So like this guy's question, even if it's like MMA or Sanda, right, with the Lei Tai or semi-pro in the boxing ring, I never really want to get put up against the wall or the ropes or the cage. So a good option for him, instead of me worrying about counter kicks, is I'm coming, bam, and I rotate and throw my hook. So a simple way to, if you watch with my foot, I'm going to, most of the time I like to turn my shoulders a little bit to get a little extra power. I'm going to pick up my left foot and turn my foot.
Step back a little bit.
Can you see it?
You can see.
I'm just going to turn my foot and pivot, bam, while throwing my hook, right? It doesn't always have to be a great hook. Sometimes I'm just slapping the guy to get him out of the way. Bam, so now I can counter and make a better opportunity.
Also, right?
Yeah, cross or roundhouse, whatever. Anytime I change the angle on that side, it's great. So remember this one, because we got to get too aggressive. Never take 3 steps back. If I'm just, even if I'm getting pressured so hard, doesn't matter. Force yourself to move him to the side and you get out of the way. Okay?
Okay, like what Cory just talking about, don't ever try to step back straight, more than 3 steps. It's not necessarily 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, any specific numbers, but it's just a concept. You don't want to go crazy. Keep stepping back, although your hooks are just stepping back. You see, same discretion. Eventually, you're going to against the wall in the real life,
or you fall off
the Lei Tai, 2 points out. Going to be gone. 2 points going to be gone off from you. And twice.
Yeah.
You're going to lose that round.
Yeah.
But that is what we come out, the ideas we're trying to tell our students or the participants, stay back. Necessary for many situations. But you don't want to be just that passive, just keep straight back, all the way straight line. No, you got to choose. Turn around, switch the angle, no matter what. You need to do that. So you can create a better opportunity to counter back.
And not only being countered is really, really important that kind of a lot of people not talk about but overlook is a lot of people, not a lot of people, it's just human nature in fighting. They think if Coach Lee pressures me and I come back, this is how I'm going to be safe while it's coming. This is the most dangerous thing I can do, right? To where if I'm relaxed and I just change the angle, bam, even if I don't hit him, once Coach changes the angle, he's on this side of me, right? Okay, so he wanted to be safe and get out of, not go straight back so I don't beat him up. Once he gets on this side of me, there is no more attacking from me. I can't attack him until I face him again. So at minimum, maybe I use this to get, bam, to change the angle and I miss my opportunity. But at minimum, I'm going to be safe because he has to reset to fight me. I can't fight a guy who's on this side. I have to change and face him again, right? So at a minimum, it's the safest option I can do once somebody really pressures me and I'm not in the right moment for a counter, okay? So let's go to aggressive real quick because
we finished the defensive style part. Okay, but one more time. Defensive and aggressive, not necessary. You just stick with, I'm totally defensive, I'm totally aggressive. Counter game really makes these 2 different styles. Okay, that's something I wanna emphasize.
Yeah, it's not that defensive or aggressive are bad. It's that if you use these,
2 sides.
it's 2 sides of a coin, and if you use one too much and you don't focus on the other, you can get exposed. When you might lose one day because you can't make the adjustment you need to make, right? So aggressive, the difference between passive and defensive and aggressive techniques are all the ones we just covered was me or whoever we were talking about is waiting for my opponent to do something so that I can counter and take advantage to score. So now this is going to be different. All of these, I'm going to force my opponent to react so that I can counter, right? So I don't have to just wait for Coach Lee to do whatever so I can counter him. Sometimes I can force him to give me a reaction I want to counter, right? So the first one we got is jumping steps. So I call this the, I know Coach does it, but the only guy I can think of that does it a lot is Muslim USAWKF does it a lot. So just like jumping steps like we've done before, right? So what's going to happen is I'm going to rotate my shoulders while I come forward, right? So while I'm rotating my shoulders to come forward, it's all a setup on my opponent. So when I do this, if I did it slow, sometimes we make the guys do this. So I hop, one, I rotate my feet, my head's on my left leg, just like I wanted to throw a hook. When I hop to that side, 1, 2, I turn a little bit to this side. I move my shoulders, my left hand's here. I'm ready to throw my right hand. So just practicing these steps, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? Just like the jumping steps we've taught you guys before. So the strategy part for this is when I'm hopping and moving while my opponent is he's going, oh man, which side is he going to come from? Which side is he going to come from? I got you. It doesn't matter which side I'm going to come from. As long as you're worried about that, I got you because I'm going to go first, right? So if I move it with Coach Bomb, bam, it doesn't matter. If he waits, I'm going to smack him. If he tries to go back, I just change and I follow him. So this is a very aggressive setup to counter, right? And so using this, we have the hook and cross like we just did. What do you got on that, Coach, before I say about the counter for this?
For the aggressive.
Yeah, for the stepping, because like either you shake your shoulders, I do the steps.
Cory talking about this is more like aggressive kind of type of fighters, but you can tell, no matter his steps, the way how he moves his shoulders, he is trying to attack with all the defensive movement.
Right.
Guys, can you tell? All of his steps and the way how he moves, how he dodge. It's very defensive. That's what we're just talking about. You cannot really totally separate two different styles. These two styles got to be combined together, just maybe based on your different strength, your power, your technique, just made it a little bit different, okay? Like these things, maybe kind of reminded me. If I want to identify how you call aggressive fighters, maybe I want to say this. I want to force, I want to push my opponents to react. I want to force my opponents to react by my attacking moves. So I'm ready to counter. Can I say that?
Yeah.
You know what, you guys, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, being defensive and aggressive, they're just two different strategies to give me an opportunity to counter, right? So like a question, like, so just the jumping steps like we were talking about, bam, bam, I'm moving. Either my opponent, most of the time he's waiting because he's trying to figure out how he wants to do something. If you're waiting, you lost because I've got you already because I'm going to go first. So the other thing that people don't think, wow, but what if he doesn't do anything? Him not doing anything is his reaction. It's still a reaction. So it's a counter to where no movement was present. So from just this step, right? If we talked about if Coach Lee goes back, that's what he doesn't want to do. If he goes back, I'm just going to go crazy and follow up with my hands and feet, right? Sometimes, maybe I know he wants to counter, bam, bam, he gives me the right hand, bop, bop, and I counter to shoot in on him, right? So I move up, wow, and I set him up to get this reaction because maybe in my head, like, because fighting or sparring, once I've done this a couple of times to Coach, I know like pretty quickly, like, Coach isn't going to step back, or the guy does step back. So the second time I do it, I'm going to change my mind. Okay, well, what? I'm going to expect Coach Lee to stand and give me a counter, and I'm going to try to set him up to shoot in, right? So just from the steps, I can set him up for a bam, bam, hook, cross, jumping cross, big hook, right? If he doesn't give me the reaction of moving back that I want, and he wants to stay and try to counter me, well, then I can set him up to shoot in because it's a good opportunity for me to shoot in while he's committed to punching me. It's hard for him to sprawl, right? I know Coach likes this one a lot. It's called we call it like a passive march. So you want to talk about this one, Coach? Where you're just solid moving forward. And like your ideas, you like this better than I do. So when you move forward,
he's going to force me to give him a reaction. So it's the same thing as the drills, except now it is probably more, what do you call it? I mean, it's more aggressive, because when I'm hopping and moving, I feel like I have a higher percentage of maybe messing up or missing my opportunity. But when he moves solid, man, he doesn't really care, especially like if you've ever, I sparred with Coach before. Anytime I touch him, he's going to try to kill me with his right hand. Bam! Right? So when he forces me, oh shit, yeah, bam, I'm going to eat it, right? But the whole time Coach is moving, he's kind of one step ahead of me, because he's forcing me, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And he's ready for anything, right? So maybe I don't counter with my hands. He's just forcing me, and I counter with my feet. He's going to catch me and take me down because he's waiting. He comes, ah! He's going to catch me and take me down, right? So using this, same thing we talked about how to take a punch, right? So this aggressive pressure that I put on him, I'm just not going to jump. I'm going to keep my head down, my chin down. I'm going to force Coach Lee backwards, and I'm waiting for his reaction. Bam! And just go for it. Whether either I can catch, bam, and go here at the same timing, right? I want to go the second he moves, I'm trying to explode on him. The reality is like some people always think that, like a question we get a lot is, well, how do I know what movement's going to happen, or how do I know what reaction Coach Lee's going to give me? Is he going to kick me to where I need to catch? Is he going to try to counter me? Is he not going to do anything? Is he going to try to shoot? Man, this is all where you have to drill these things in training to where my muscle memory can react to whatever happens, right? Like, fighting's not, at least for me, we'll let Coach talk after this. I don't think, it's never like, oh, I'm going to push Coach Lee and I'm going to give him a cross hook and everything's just going to line up perfect and I'm going to land. It's never like that. But I can kind of control the exchange to where I can force him, I can come forward. I know he's going to give me a reaction. He's either going to give me a cross punch, he's going to give me a big kick. But once I get good at both of those, bam, I create an exchange that I'm better at than he is. So so there's not a right and wrong answer. Whatever, man, and sometimes it can be I don't have to use my hands. It can be a counter roundhouse. I move, he gives me a reaction, and I'm looking to try to break him. You know what I mean? You got anything on this?
Yeah. Everything what we're talking about, the game, the counter game, the styles, how we going to deal with the different type of fighters, counter with the different kind of skills, how to judge and predict what my opponent going to do, guys. I think one thing, the most important thing we cannot avoid, Sanda is a combat sport. Sanda is a combat sport. You might have the most solid fundamentals, all the techniques. You might be so strong, you might be so fast. But guys, combat sport, if you never fight, if you never spar, there's no way you can catch those moments. Exactly. How you predict, how you guess the better percentage, your opponent, the movements that they're going to do, they're really based on your fighting experience. Fighting experience is so important. Not just for talking about a real fight or street fight. Sparring is a good thing for this drill. You got to spar a lot, big portion, or even choose different opponents, different specialized, the people that have a different specialization, the very significant the skills, style to fight with you, to spar with you. I think, for example, for some national team, they got the government support. Just 1 week class, their sparring partner must be more than 3 or 5 of them. Same weight class, but different kind of body type, different kind of specialization, from striking to takedown to wrestling. That's something can really help you to build up. Yeah, how can I predict better? How can I guess better what my opponent going to do to me? I think that's one thing I'm trying to remind everybody, our participants, Sanda participants, spar more, take more fights as much as possible. They always help. Fighting experience is a main issue.
Yeah, the other thing about all these is you have to put yourself, like, how do you get good at those reactions? Like, how do I get good at forcing my opponent to give me a cross so I can shoot him? How do I get good at him giving me a kick so I can catch and take him down? The reality is you have to spend a lot of time trying those things in sparring. Like in jiu-jitsu, it's the same way. Like, let's just say that these things are positions instead of like exchanges, right? You have to practice those positions. You have to be in that point. You have to try this all the time. So that way I'm used to whatever reaction he gives me, right? I'm used to whatever reaction he gives me. I'm not going to be surprised. My body's handled it. And eventually it will become muscle memory to where here comes his left hand, pom, pom, I counter immediately. Oh, here comes his roundhouse, catch and punch. Like your body will, oh, I know what to do with this reaction. But you have to spend time in those reactions. And when you spar, there's two things about sparring. One, I guess the two things I would say about sparring is either one, they don't do it enough, or two, they don't do it correctly. So correctly would be, if we bring guys in, all of these things, whether you're being defensive or aggressive, it's basically countering, right? I'm creating exchanges and situations for me to score on my opponent by making him make a mistake or me guessing what he's going to do to be able to score on him. All of these things are very, very hard to do with no brain. So when I spar, we tell the guys all the time, like, listen, I'm not worried about you going out and beating anybody up or your teammates or anything out, but you have to try new things. So when you spar, you have to try. Sometimes you have to try. I'm not very good at a side kick. I have to try it. Or I really want to work on this counter hook, so I'm going to really force my opponents or my sparring partners to come in. Sometimes you can even tell them, hey, man, pressure me a lot. I really want to try to work on this. You know, like, but if you're going in there and your goal when you go into sparring is, oh, I'm Cory, I think at the longest, I'm going to beat up everybody. That's my goal. Well, I'm never going to open up my game to try to get better at anything. I'm never going to practice anything new. I'm only going to do what I'm good at to try to beat everybody in the gym. So if you're training like that, you're just hurting yourself, because what happens when I go to Worlds and I can't do that to my opponent? And it's the whole point of this little lesson today is what happens when I have my game and maybe I'm very defensive and passive. I'm not aggressive. I don't come forward. I don't go first. And I'm really, really calm. And this is a style I play. I use it at the gym every day. I never try anything else, but I fight with a guy like Coach who's shorter and faster. And everything I do, bomb, he counters me back and he's beating me at my own game. Everything I do, pop, he counters and he's scoring. If I can't make an adjustment and go to be more aggressive or change the game, I'm going to lose. I'm not even going to have a chance to win. So all of this is, how do you create opportunities to counter, and how do I be good at everything? Well, the way you become good at everything is you have to let yourself try things in sparring, even if you're not good at it. Yeah, you got to fight, man. You got to try. And then, but that's the other thing. You have to fight enough to where you're calm enough when you fight, because that takes a long time. You know, it takes a long time to fight. It probably takes 10 fights for you to go out there and you're actually calm enough so I can listen to what the corner's telling me.
Something related with mental.
Yeah.
Yeah. Experience also help you calm yourself down faster.
Yeah, here's the other thing. So like the question earlier, like what do we do when I get pushed back into a corner? Like just for example, what happens if I get pushed into a wall? How do I counter kick? First of all, man, if you fight, you have to be so present and calm to know that I never want to get put in a corner. You know what I mean? So like, it's a hard thing. There's a million answers. There's a million counters. That's what makes the sport so cool. You got anything on that?
Yeah, but everything we've been talking about now is based on our training system. Okay, the way how I see my fighters to react, or from I learn or I catch some cool ideas from other style fighters or coaches, their coaching, same thing, experience. We still have many different, I think we still have so many different games. We can adapt their ideas, but our time is limited and our knowledge is limited, our experience is limited too. So be open-minded to watch, okay? To fight and to watch. Some good fighters fight, they're also going to help us too. And we're talking about defensive, aggressive. Cory, you want to mention a little bit
the balance part? So basically the end of the lesson is when you are balanced, you can, just kind of what we've been preaching on all day, I can make the adjustments that I need to make, and I can change my rhythm, my tempo, and my game plan to basically mold to beat my opponent, right? I have to be able to change. Like, again, like I remember Alex this year or last Worlds or Worlds before, he had one fight where he had lost the first round, and he just went out, he came to the corner, listened to coach, and went out there and changed his entire style and won 2 rounds in a row. But you have to be able to do that. So being balanced. So one thing, when you're very balanced and you're very good at these counter games, one little thing that we were going to show that's probably the highest, I don't want to say highest level, but
more advanced.
It's more advanced, but the reason it's more advanced because it's the most efficient way for you to score. Like, I think coach all the time says, like, you know, Muslim USAWKF is probably the best Sanda guy. Maybe he's not the best Sanda guy ever, but he's probably the most efficient. Meaning when he has an opportunity to score points, he doesn't miss it, right? And a lot of things he does is kind of what we're going to talk about now, which is using these very simple counter drills we talked about to set my opponent up to either counter catch, counter punch, counter kick, or counter shooting, right? So what kind of combination?
We talk about the basic concepts first before we talk about the very complicated, the more complete movement. For example, I throw my right roundhouse kick a lot. So that's something I really love to do because it really helped me to get a lot of points. After a couple times kicking, Cory, I'm going to assume, oh, he is a very good fighter. He's not going to make the same mistake. Just let me keep landing on him all the time. So what are you going to do? Counter me back. Counter me back. And I want to play the game. I know after a couple times roundhouse kicks, he might start thinking, I like to do this all the time. So what are you going to do? Either give me a front roundhouse kick, back roundhouse kick, right roundhouse kick, or give me jab, whatever, from hand striking to kicking. Okay, so there's many drills we can practice one by one. Let's talk about once he tried to counter with his left roundhouse kick first. Don't coming back. That's one thing I assume he's going to do that to me. So, but let's talk about right roundhouse kick first. I think easy. So this one, I go, coming back. Of course, you want to get the points back from, look at this, low session, middle session, or high session. So that's the drill we can work on. Low session first. Bump, hit back. Bump, hit back. Low session kick. Easy for me. First timing, go, catch, and take down. Low session. Middle session, here go, kick. Guys, we can catch it this way. That's some rules we need to mention first. Once Cory land on my torso, even I catch, 2 points. I still lost 2 points there. Okay, so I must take him down. Even I take him down, 2 points for me, 2 points for him too. So it's even. So that's the way. After this, boom. I still want to block my torso, try to not let him land on my torso. But meanwhile, I can catch him and take him down at the same time. Let's do the smooth movement. 1, don't take out. Catch. After kicking, ready, catch, take down. High session, same movement. Once you hit high, similar blocking movement with the torso part. So after I kick, he counter me back, I'm ready. But look, I don't want to stay stationary waiting for his roundhouse kick. Because this part, if I stay here, his roundhouse kick coming, even I block, still so powerful to me. So that's a tip. When I try to catch the high kick, I want to make sure I'm able to moving in and raise up my hands, block, catch, moving forward at the same time. It's very advanced technique. So that's we talking about low session, middle session, and high session roundhouse kicks coming. How you defend? Actually, not how you defend. How you play the counter game.
Right.
Set up.
Yeah. So I think I think we got 5 more minutes before Cindy wants to do questions. All of this, what I think Coach is saying, like, or I guess what I would add is all of these things, whether it's basically a giant seminar on countering. Now, I can counter by me giving the first reaction and seeing what they do, or I can force them to give me a reaction so that I can counter. So the balance thing, what Coach is talking about is whether it's low section, middle section, high section, is how do I count? Not only do we get good at, okay, all the things today we showed was I get the reaction that I want and I move and I go. But what happens when he gives me a reaction after that? I just keep going and I stay calm enough to counter his counter, right? So I tell guys all the time, like Coach, I want him to kick me so that I can catch and take him down, right? And they'll wait all day and maybe Coach Lee punches and he never gives you the leg off, but he won't kick me. Sometimes you have to create the reaction you want to see. So just like Coach, maybe he's looking for me to catch, right? So this is where it gets advanced and you become really efficient. Remember, maybe Coach has in his mind, he wants to catch my right roundhouse like he just did, but he has to force me to throw it. So he's not always just going to give me his right leg. A lot of times he's going to jab. He's going to continue fighting me, waiting for that right opportunity. He kicks, bomb, I just gave it to him. He kicks and takes me down. So it's about how do I force that reaction? I don't stop what I'm doing. Okay, so being balanced, right? If I want the defensive hook, bomb, how do I make him throw it? Well, if the guy's not coming in, how do I make him throw it? I punch him and I want him to come. I don't have to just run backwards to give it to him. Bomb, give him a cross, give him a jab. When he tries to counter, pop, you counter, bomb, and then I get the right timing to go. How do I counter his counter? How do I create an opportunity that I like or that I want? So like we're talking about Muslim. Man, he's going to go in there. He's going to try to beat you up with his hands because he has beautiful hands. But every reaction he gives, you give him. You counter him, he'll counter you back. If he pushes you backwards, you're going to get beat up. If you shoot it on, he's going to sprawl or maybe counter wrestling. So he's always there and efficient to counter your counter, but he creates those exchanges that he likes. You know what I mean? So you got anything else, Coach?
Yeah, it's a very good idea. So we've been sharing. Today we don't really do too many or too much specific skills and drills. We show some general ideas, and those ideas can be a lot. But I think what we're trying to do today is, when we introduce different type of fighters, one thing can put everything together is a counter game. And that's the thing I always pay the most attention while I'm coaching. You must counter. If you counter, you have a counter games, you just make yourself smarter and more efficient. The way how you fight more efficient. All the movements you can do is going to be more effective.
And it's your best opportunity to score.
And if we need to talk about very specific drills, maybe just one movement or a series movement, just hands counter or roundhouse kick counter, front kick, all the stretch kicks counter. Each movement we might need to spend like 1-2 hours.
I mean,
to talk about.
Just on the board, I think just counter cross. Like let's say I wanted to throw my right hand. I think we gave, 4 examples of when I can throw my right hand on somebody. But none of those examples was, just throw your right hand. They're never that. How do I force Coach to give me that reaction that's good for me to throw it, right? Whether it's a counter, I'm calm, he counters, bam, and I go. Or I catch and I go. But it was never just, I just hit him. It's impossible to do that. So you have to, the most efficient way for you to score is counter. But Cindy, you got any questions, girl?
No, I don't think we have any more questions. And the time is about to end.
Hold on. What did Matthew Lee just ask? It popped up on my phone.
Oh, did he?
Uh-oh.
No, I don't see any question.
Oh, sorry, Matthew. You're probably watching. You're still handsome, though.
Okay, so that will be it for the day. Thank you guys for your time.
All right. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Session.